Terra Luna's crypto crash, how UST broke, and what's next. That's what we're about to be getting into, guys. Like, we need to know, first of all, what is and how was Terra Luna and UST working, and then why did it fail? Let's see. Terra Luna and UST, what are they? Terra Luna is a blockchain just like Ethereum and Bitcoin. While Ethereum's blockchain natively produces Ether tokens, Terra natively produces Luna. Before the depeg, Luna was trading at $85. Wow. It was at $85. Quickly went to zero. It's crazy. To create UST, you need to burn Luna. So for instance, last week, you could trade one Luna token for 85 UST since Luna was worth only $85. But Luna would be destroyed, burned in the process. This deflationary protocol was meant to ensure Luna's long-term growth. As more people bought into UST, more Luna would be burned, making the remaining Luna supply more valuable. Sounds like a really good plan. And foresight, right? To entice traders to burn Luna to create UST, creators offered an insane 19.5 yield on staking. Who could pass that up? You're almost getting 20% return on your money just holding it in a stablecoin, which is essentially crypto terminology for earning 19.5 interest on a loan through what they called the Anchor protocol. There was a lot of hype around Anchor. Instead of parking your savings at a bank for 0.06% interest, the pitch is to turn your money into UST, where it can earn nearly 20% interest before the depegging. Over 70% of UST circulating supply, around 14 billion, was deposited in this scheme. And it's funny that they are calling this a scheme, which it essentially turned out to be, right? Now, here's the key to UST's retaining its peg. Now, this is very important. Check this out. One UST can always be exchanged for $1 worth of Luna. So if UST slips to 99 cents, traders could profit by buying a huge amount of UST and exchanging it for Luna, profiting 1 cent per token. This effect works in two ways. People buying UST drives the price up, and UST being burned during this exchange to Luna deflates the supply. Now, what they mean by this deflating the supply is making the amount of Luna scarce, which is artificially pumping up the price of Luna. All right. So just by doing this little exchange with UST and Luna, you are artificially pumping up Luna's price and at the same time, so-called keeping the peg of UST. So it's trying to get the peg of UST back to $1. Now, people are exploiting this system. And if you had enough money in it, you could make a good amount just off of that alone, just by having your money in UST and then trading it out for Luna. Okay? All right, so check this out. Then there's the Reserve. Terraform Labs founder and CEO Kwon created the Luna Foundation Guard, a consortium whose job it is to protect the peg. All right? So they had to protect the peg, keep it at $1. The LFG had about 2.3 billion in Bitcoin reserves. Now, think about this. This is important. This is why we had such a massive crash. We had 2.3 billion in Bitcoin reserves, which plans to expand that to 10 billion worth of Bitcoin and other crypto assets. If UST dipped below $1, Bitcoin reserves would be sold and UST bought with the proceeds. If UST goes above $1, creators would sell UST until it goes back to $1, with the profit being used to buy more Bitcoin to pad out the reserves. It all makes sense. But UST at this time of writing is worth 13 cents. Actually now it's way less than that. All right, it's under a penny. Okay, so this is what you all came here for. What went wrong? This is the important part. Okay, look, it all started May 7th. Over 2 billion worth of UST was unstaked. All right, that means it was taken out of the Anchor protocol. This is the protocol that was given to people to almost a 20% interest, right? And hundreds of millions of them of that was immediately sold. Immediately, all at once, guys. Whether this was a reaction to a particularly volatile period, the rise in interest rates has particularly affected cryptocurrency prices, or a more malicious attack on Terra's system is a topic of debate. Is it really a topic of debate? I think at this point in time, we know that Terra's flaws got exploited and it was attacked. It was a brilliant scheme, and you're about to see what the scheme was. All right. So huge sales pushed down the price to 91 cents. Remember now, people were trading their UST for Terra and making a penny per trade, right? Now, if somebody sees that they can make 9 cents per trade, guess what? It's gonna force people to sell their Terra as well, trying to go back to that Luna. All right, traders try to take advantage of this arbitrage, exchanging 90 cents worth of UST for $1 worth of Luna. Do you see the problem? You see this cascading problem here, right? So they were like, oh, everybody else was thinking, oh, we could take advantage. It was triggered by this malicious attack, but the system was so flawed, it caused everybody else that understood how Luna worked to make this price go go crashing into a death spiral all the way down. All right. But check this out. But then a speed bump appeared. Over 100 million worth of UST can be burned for Luna per day. Only. All right. So investors already flighty in the current gloomy market flocked to sell their UST once the stablecoin couldn't retain its peg. It bounced between 30 and 50 cents in a week following the initial depeg, but has fallen a steady low of under 20 cents. Its market cap, which was about 18 billion in early May, now stands at 2 billion. That's a insane amount of billions to lose in a day and a half, 2 days. All right. So look at this tweet. Watcher Guru. He says 1 week ago, Luna was $82.55. Now it is it's a penny. Actually, and now it's less than a penny, right? So this is on the 12th. So yeah, it's less than a penny now. There little memes are coming out about it. You know, they're saying they're being backed by Costco, hot dog, and Pepsi. All right. So now what? It's worse for Luna holders. The value of Luna's token has almost completely disappeared after reaching a high of $120 in April. Luna's current price is less than a 50th of a penny. On the possibility of this being a malicious attack, some have speculated that an attacker attempted to break UST in order to profit from shorting Bitcoin. Now, this is the very interesting part, guys. They really thought this out. But since he was telling everybody what he was backing his assets by, this allowed them to know what to target. And because you're about to see why. You know, they're going to have to sell off their Bitcoin. So look, betting on it price going down, if would-be attackers created a large position in UST and they unstaked 2 billion all at once, it could depeg UST, which would mean Terra's team would have to sell portions of its Bitcoin to reserve the peg of the stablecoin. And now, once investors saw that the UST lost its peg, they would then rush to unstake and sell their UST, which will require more Bitcoin reserves to be sold, adding further sell pressure. Again, this is still speculation. You know, everybody, you know, they're trying to, I guess, be cautious and not say exactly what it is. But, you know, we all know, I mean, at this point, it's not speculation, all right? Look, and this is very, very key. Our job as DeFi builders is to build systems that are resistant to exploits. We got to stop rushing out these crypto projects, especially when we're playing with people's livelihoods. Billions of dollars was put into this, all right? Now, he said, literally the original threat model that anyone in crypto builds. How would this hold up if a guy with 100 billion came in and tried to take this down? And then he's saying 4 years ago, while working as a DeFi analyst at Scalar Capital, Ionessi called Terra's model broken. And now, see, that's what ends up happening. We start falling in love with a project. People from the outside that don't have that bias, they try to warn and tell you, look, this doesn't seem right. Something about this is wrong. And then you're so caught up in it. You're making so much money. You're so emotional that you're not willing to listen to what people are telling you about Terra or any other project that could be broken at the time. Okay. Don't think this can't happen to any other project. We all know ETH is broken. We know they're trying to fix it on the fly. And I'm not saying it's going to happen to ETH. What I'm just saying is you can't be so emotional to where you're saying that, oh, my project is broken, but nothing can happen to it. It's too big. All right. Look, and this is a very key point. Terra could have grown to be 10 times as large before such a crash, he said. Better that we prick the bubble of unsustainable protocol sooner than later. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It's better before. Just imagine how bad it was now. If this would have rivaled ETH, it would have became the chosen altcoin. Oh my goodness. Just imagine the fallout when they would have figured out the exploit later. It's a good thing they didn't say, let's wait for it to get 10 times bigger. All right. So now the problem is, why does it matter? Now that you understand why it crashed, why this model was from the very get-go didn't make any sense. Why would you build your whole ecosystem? Now you had all these protocols under your layer 1, but it was all built off the UST, and UST which artificially pumped the Luna price, which meant everything was inflated from the get-go. Even though it was supposed to be deflationary, this whole thing was just a whole scheme. It was a whole mess from the get-go. All right. Now, why does this matter? Right. It's a lot of fallout that comes from this, and we'll probably do more videos on the fallout. But let's just get into 3 reasons. And I agree with all of the 3 reasons he gave. All right. First, 15 billion crypto value has been wiped out through Luna and UST alone. All right. And there has been reports of people self-harming themselves, self-deleting themselves. All right. Now, the damage isn't only contained to Terra's ecosystem. All right. Many who had Luna, who invested in Luna, sold off big parts of their crypto portfolio to recoup the damage that they lost. Now, secondly, all right, it raises questions about other stable coins. Now, everybody else is feeling very weary and they're very leery about even putting their money into other stable coins. All right. Again, UST was unusual. Is that it was an algorithmic stablecoin, unlike Tether and USDC, but the stability of those coins has always been somewhat in doubt. For instance, New York's Attorney General last year accused Tether of lying about how much it actually held in dollar reserves. We're going to talk about that later. All right. But definitely right now, Tether is saying that they have everything back 1 for 1. Could have been a lie. They might have had assets. They might have had, let's say, $1 million house and used that as collateral. And they probably speculated they could have liquidated that house to get the peg. Who knows? But the point is, they are not being very forthcoming, showing if they really do have the assets to back up what they say they have. But that's a whole nother note. We'll talk about that some other time. All right. So now people are scared. Like, if UST gets was attacked, what else could be attacked? What other stable coins could be attacked? All right. Now the question on our mind becomes: does what happened to UST spread to other stable coins? If Big Whales found a playbook here that works to attack UST, we worry that they may reuse the same playbook in other areas of the market. I mean, it's very possible. This is very possible. And what I don't understand is why Kwon did not halt his blockchain. Why didn't he halt selling and trading? Did he really believe that everything could just get turned around in a matter of hours? He should have protected his some of his followers, which is what it turned out to be, the lunatics. And he really should have had a way of at least a countermeasure or some way to stop the bleeding, to try to figure out what's going on. You can stop everybody from selling, stop everybody from trying to, gain something off the peg. Definitely when it went down to 90 cents or 85 cents or whatever, right? So last but not least, this possibly, and I don't even think it's not even a possibility. This is going to happen, all right? The collapse of UST has caught the attention of powerful politicians and regulators. Yes, they have been waiting for a moment just like this. All right. The SEC's treasurer, Janet Yellen. All right. The Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, said on Tuesday that the UST's depegging simply illustrates that this stable coins is a rapidly growing product, and there are rapidly growing risks. All right. One place we might see some regulatory movement is around stable coins. The SEC member, Hester Pierce, said Thursday. All right. So now this got the attention of the SEC, government officials, and whoever else wants to get their little creepy little hands on all your little crypto money. Okay. This is really what it's about. All right. This is an excuse. You can't let any crisis go to waste. And this was exactly a crisis at the greatest magnitude. Losing billions of dollars in 2 days is not to be overlooked. And just know that this is going to be unwanted, but maybe much needed regulation. And you know that they're going to overstep and they're going to pad their pockets. We know that things are corrupt, which is just how it works. But at the same time, they're going to offer you some type of security, and I don't know how that's going to come, in what form. But next time, guys, we can't sit here and be so what do you call that? We can't sit here and be so reckless in our own communities. And at the end of the day, it's on us to police ourselves if we didn't want this to happen. And we didn't do that as a crypto community as a whole. And now Big Daddy government is stepping in. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Next time, we'll be talking about the other fallout and what Kwon plans to do. He wants to fork into Terra Classic. He wants to make this old chain called Terra Classic and then have a new one, this new Luna. Luna Classic. And then he wants a new Luna to come out. And his community is not happy about that, like 90% voting against it. I don't know. I don't think Luna's coming back. Who knows? It could be the greatest comeback of all time. But if you enjoyed this video and you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our Whale Rocket podcast. We will drop one every Thursday at 8 p.m. I hope you like what you've seen. Share it with a friend. Tell everybody that you know. Whale Rockets. We're here to stay. This is your boy Moonwalk, and I'm out. Peace.